So you want to know what the best skill build is for this Iron Man lookalike destroyer, which is the Awakened Giant. I am going to cover the full skill build, the best branch damages, the best stats, the best gear, crystals, Lightstones, Relic fragments, Alchemy Stones. I'm going to cover it all in this video. If you're a veteran player, I will go over the full skill build, PvP and PvE first, as well as the branch damages, and then after that I will go a little bit more into detail for those who are newer and want to see a full build. Thank you guys for stopping by. My name is Legit. We are going to dive right in up first with the skills. For the first skill build here I have is the farming skill build. I do not have guerrilla tactics in there. I do not have Slugfest in there, which is a pretty vital skill for PvP and even boss rushes, but I don't have it in there simply because it is a longer casting skill. As you can see right here, it only does 250% damage, but does do 8 hits, so yeah, that's 2,000% damage. But by the time he's done casting that entire skill, I could have used 2 other skills and killed entire sets of mobs by then. So I do not have it on there. To the Grave is vital. It's kind of similar to Slugfest, but it does a little bit more damage, and Slugfest only hits targets in front of him, where To the Grave hits targets all around him in a medium radius around him. So it is pretty solid. It does hits all targets around him. Tectonic Rift, definitely needed. Hellraiser I do not use. Firebomb is in there. It isn't a heavy hitting skill, but it does 750% damage. And we look at some of the other skills that are in there, like Flamebuster, it only does 780% damage. It's only slightly less. Bombardment is in there. It is the 4th skill at the top up there. And then I do not have Furious Bash in there. It's doing 477% damage on 4 hits, but it's only hitting targets in front of him again. So that's the 5 skills that I use for the PvE farming. Again, these are just my skill builds. If you feel like a skill build works better for you, or you feel like a skill should be in one of these builds, by all means, rock it. Let me know in the comments down below also why you think a skill should or should not be in one of these builds. So that's the farming build. The second skill build here is the PvP skill build. I did check out Smithy's. His was a little different, so I used most of it and I tweaked it a little bit. I like Hellraiser on the first setup up top, as opposed to Firebomb in that first position. I like the Engage. Hellraiser is a farther skill, so you typically want to use it starting further back as opposed to up closer on him, like an Evade skill. After the Hellraiser, I hit him with the Slugfest, which does the daze and then the knock up. And then while they're on the ground, I hit him with a To the Grave. And then I Firebomb away. By the time the To the Grave is done with its last hit, I hit him with the Firebomb and to get away. And then as soon as I hit him with the Firebomb, I'll use one more evade because, let's be honest, Firebomb goes all of 2 feet, so you're not very far. So you do need to hit him with another evade. And then by the time that whole rotation's done, it's pretty much up again. The guy's evading or they're trying to attack you. And then I start over again. I hit him with the Hellraiser. You do have the Tectonic Rift in there, which is a little bit more ranged skill. Flame Burst, a little bit more of a ranged skill. Bombardment, slightly more ranged skill. It does offer the knockdown. Tectonic Rift's offering the knockdown. Flame Buster's offering the knockback. And then your Carnal Rage is in there, which is giving you your heal, slash, and rage. I do not have Furious Bash in there. It hits targets in front of him. For PvE farming, it only hits targets in front of him. And then for PvP, it does have a bound, but it's doing 477% damage. It does come with 2 charges on a 7-second cooldown time. Has max 4 hits. I'm sure some of you guys have it in your PvP setup. I'm curious. I know Smithy and I know 2 other people's builds that I checked did not have it. I'm curious to see what you guys think if you rock it. Up next, and the last one is Carnal Rage. That is your heal, slash, and rage. The third in PvE boss rush one that I have used, I did use it on level 99 Uraka. It works very well, surprisingly. I do like the Hellraiser. It's the exact same setup. The top 4 skills are your close quarter combat skills. The bottom 4 skills are your range skills. So for boss rushes, I Hellraiser in there for your engage. Hit him with the Slugfest, hit him with the To the Grave, and then get out of there, Firebomb. You might have to toss an evade in there if they do a skill. And then when you're ranged, you can hit him with the Tectonic Rift, which has some medium range. You can hit him with the Flame Buster, which has medium range, the Bombardment, medium range, and then it has your heal down there. So the top 4 skills are your close quarter combat skills. The bottom 4 skills are your range skills. And you can do those in combos. So the top one is a combo, the bottom one is a combo, except for the heal, slash, and rage. And I did test it out. This works very well. I did, check a couple other people's builds, and I made it my own. So again, make sure just because you see my skill build doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So check it out. If you find a build that works better, by all means, rock it. So that's the skill builds. Let's check out the branch damages. So there's actually 2 branch damages on AAL, but if they're unequipped, you can't see them. So the first one is Slugfest. That should be on AAL. Furious Bash should also be on AAL if you do use it in your setup. For Lebrev, you have To the Grave, Bombardment, and Flamebuster. And then for Ahib, you have Tectonic Rift. Those are the branch damages. I did test them all 40 times each. I went into a friendly arena. I took another account in there with me, and I killed them hundreds of times for all of these tests. And the best branch damages are by percentage. So Slugfest was AAL by 2% higher than Ahib. To the Grave, Lebrev was the best by 5% over Ahib. Tectonic Rift, Ahib was the better than Seret by 8%. Bombardment, Lebrev was better by 3% over AAL. Flamebuster, Lebrev was better by 11% over Seret, and Furious Bash, AAL was better by 10% over Seret. That is the branch damages. That is the full skill build. If you're a veteran player, that's what you needed. If you're on your way out, make sure you hit that like as well as leave a comment. For those that are looking for a little bit more in-depth, we're going to go over the full gear and everything else. So up first, for gear, you really want to focus on Jin gear, whether it's Jin Gruntle Armor or Jin Laverto or Jin Rosar. This is one of my alt characters, so I only have them at Ultimate Rosar and Ultimate Laverto. I'm not going to enchant these. I'm not going to put crystals in them. I will talk about what you want to go for with those. So you want to go for Jin Laverto. If you can't get your hands on Jin Laverto, you want to start off with any orange, work your way up to 2-slot, then work your way up to Gruntle, and then Jin Gruntle. After that, you have reds. You can either get them from Shaka 2 or the World Drop. If you have a red rocket, these are better than the Jins, and you were going to end up having all reds down the road. Accessories, start off with yellow. If you're a newer player, you obviously are going to want to upgrade to orange when possible, as soon as possible. Oranges are becoming a lot cheaper on the market now, so they are becoming a lot easier to get your hands on. As far as relics, I do like the relics that give AP and DP, so the combined stat as opposed to a higher AP. Even as a free-to-play player, you do need DP because a lot of people that you're going up against in the arenas or node wars or siege wars, they're a couple hundred to 1,000 CP higher. So AP is king, especially for PvE, for all classes, but you can't go wrong with DP. DP, especially on a Destroyer. Destroyer could actually get away with more DP than most classes, but I advise people not to go too strong on DP. And that's because you're not going to have 2 sets of gear that are AP and DP. What do I mean by that? You want AP on your gear because you want to be able to clear content, whether for PvE farming, boss rushes, whatever it might be. If you focus on straight DP, you're going to have a little bit harder time clearing that content. So while some classes you do want to focus more on DP, like this class right here, I still strongly recommend having AP where possible. You can get away with it for DP if you're a higher pay-to-win player. You could get away with more DP. As far as enchants, let's go over the enchants for each piece of gear. So for the weapons, the top enchants for the list up here, I do recommend attack. If you can't get attack, I do like crit hit damage. Well, let me rephrase that. If your crit hit damage isn't maxed, I would go for crit hit damage. If it is maxed, I would then go for attack. For your bottom 2 stats, you only have the choice between AP and DP. My gear is not awakened yet, so I can't show you anyways. For the offhand, your choices are AP and DP. I would go for AP here over all the other stats. Helmet, your choices are branch damage, Lebrev, AAL, crit, attack speed, and max HP. So if your AAL isn't maxed or your Lebrev isn't maxed, those are both very important skills. I would definitely max those 2 first. Once those are maxed, I would then put your enchants on the helmet to max HP. For chest, your options are defense or crit hit damage. So if your crit hit damage isn't maxed, I would definitely go for that first and then defense on your armor. For your boots, you're going to want Lebrev branch damage. If that gets capped, then you can move it to movement speed if that's not capped. And then unfortunately your best choice is MP. And then lastly, for gloves, your best choices are branch damages. If those all get capped, then put it on max HP. For your accessories, the first accessory I have here, the ring. We have DP or branch damages. So I would definitely go for branch damages first if they're not capped, except for Seret. And then I would go for DP. For this bad boy, I would go for AP. If your crit hit damage isn't maxed, I would go for crit hit damage first and then AP. For this one, your best choices are AP. I would just go for AP on that bad boy. For the earrings, attack, crit hit damage, branch damages, I would probably go for crit hit or attack if your crit hit isn't maxed. And then lastly, your choices are DP or crit hit damage. So again, crit hit damage first if that's not capped. Then I would probably go for Lebrev or AEL at the bottom if those aren't capped. And then after that, I would go for DP if all that other stuff is capped. So that is the enchants that you want to go for. Let's talk about the crystals. So I don't have any crystals on my main hand or offhand weapon, especially because I'm going to upgrade these to Jin Lavertos, and then I will add enchants and add crystals to them. I'm not going to waste any of that stuff on stuff that's going to get upgraded here shortly anyways. So I don't have any of that stuff on these bad boys. Crystals, good crystals are going to be crystals that have AP and DP. I don't recommend having crystals that give you movement speed or HP or crit or any of that stuff. So you want AP or DP, and you want crystals that are AP or DP that have AAL or Lebrev. If those two are capped, you can then start to get away with crystals that have AHIB on them, like that DP plus 8 and then the attack plus 8 that have AHIB. So that is the crystals that I recommend. As far as pets, beggars can't be choosers here. You do want pets that give AP. If possible, there is crit hit damage pets. Those are very nice as well. There's any pets that give CP are nice. So I have two pets at the moment. This one gives 20 DP. This one gives 30 DP. I do have one other pet that's giving field silver drop rate. He doesn't help too much. So I do have this pet setup gives me DP, so 50 DP. This first setup here I have is for combat experience. And then the second setup here is for dark energy experience. As far as Alchemy Stones, I currently have the Alchemy Stone equipped right now for testing that gives crit hit damage 50%. I do also have the Sushi Stone, which gives 106 AP at the top, gear enhancement level +3, and then Black Spirit skill damage 25%. I do like the Savage Stone of Victory for PvP. That's the one I use for PvP. I use the Brave Stone of Hunter for killing monsters and for beginning of boss rushes before the boss himself. I do like the Brave Stone of the Conqueror for boss rushes for the boss themselves, so 50% increased damage to bosses. I do have the shiny Alchemy Stone as well, extra gear drop rate by 10%. And then the other two stones that I would recommend are the World Boss Stone, so for when you do world bosses, and the Stone of Luck for down the road. Those are the Alchemy Stones that I use and would recommend. Lastly, we have Lightstones. So this is an alt again. Lightstones that I would go for are Lightstones that have CP, crit hit damage, and branch damages. I understand orange, and then there's red Lightstones that are coming. You can't really change the stats that are on there often, and sometimes you got to keep rolling until you get better ones. So go with whatever ones you can that are the best. Go for ones that have combat power first. If not combat power, then crit hit damage. If not crit hit damage, then I would go for branch damages. So that is the Lightstones. That is the full build. That's what I recommend. Again, with this class, you can get away with going more DP, but I hesitate in doing that too much because you do need AP for PvE content. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that helps you guys out. If it does, make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you leave a comment as well. Let me know what you guys think. And with that being said, I will see you next time.